There's a helicopter going by. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and I make new videos every single Thursday. I will also be moving to Disney World in July, so I'm going to have a ton of videos about that coming out. This week the applications for the Canadian Cultural Representative Program opened. Like yesterday they opened, and it's been kind of a frenzy in our Facebook group, people asking people who've applied before and people who've been accepted what to do and how to, get a step further in the program or the application process. So I thought I would make my own video about it. I watched a ton of these as I was preparing for my interview, so I thought it might be helpful. So without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for the DCRP application. My first tip for you is research. Do your research. And this comes in many different forms. You can watch vlogs, you can read blogs, you can actually go to the Disney website. There's a lot of information out there. It's just people have named it a bunch of different things, so it's kind of tough to find. So I would dedicate quite a bit of time to researching. I started my research by watching some YouTube vlogs. I like to watch ones where people were like out in the parks every day, but you need to understand that even though you're watching these people go around the parks and having fun and living life and doing staycations or, weekend trips to other states in the US, that's not why you're there. You're there to work. So you need to see the fun side of it, but also remember that that's not going to be your entire program. I feel like a lot of people go into the program, even the college program, being like, oh, I get to work at Disney and then I get to play all the time. It is going to be hard work, so you really need to have a balance between the research you do on the fun side and then the more serious stuff, because there are people who talk about like the struggles of working at Disney, and I would definitely suggest watching those as well. I found quite a few vlogs that I loved that really got me into like, yes, I want to do this program, and I'm going to link them down below. Everything I talk about in this video will be linked down below, all of it. So if I mention something, it's going to be down there, and you can definitely go and look at a YouTube page or a blog or whatever that I mentioned. The next thing I would do research on is the Disney International Programs blog. They will have postings about what it's like to work there, what it's like to live there, all that kind of stuff. It's also going to give you the jargon or the wording that they would probably like to see on a resume. Though it is important to note that even though they're talking about work, they are the Disney company. So it's not going to be completely unbiased. It's going to probably paint a prettier picture than, some other people who are talking about their horror stories, which teach their own. But yeah, I would definitely look in that, because then you can see what the company is expecting your program to be like as well. Another website that I'm going to recommend you look at during the research step is Adam Does Disney. He has literally all the information you could need. There's information on how to write a resume, how to write a CV, how to write your application answers. Though if you're applying for the UK one, that's great information. Other countries, there's a lot of information on his website that's not applicable to your application. Like there's apparently a whole essay thing for the UK, and I didn't have to do that at all. I was expecting to write an essay explaining why I wanted to work, and it was literally just, here's my resume, here's my cover letter, please interview me. The last piece of research that I'm going to tell you to do is on the job description. So the role has very specific wording in the description. Look at it and figure out what you need to put into your resume and cover letter, because the first thing that happens when you submit your resume and cover letter is a computer looks at it and looks for keywords, and if you don't have a certain amount of keywords in there, they're going to get rid of you. So instead of employee, say cast member. Instead of job, or what is another word for job? Position, say role. Instead of customers, say guests. Definitely say you want to make magic or something like that, take part in telling a story, that kind of stuff. The Disney jargon is what you really want to focus on too. And that's all I have to say about research. It's very, very important. You can't just like type it up and be like, okay, we're good. Research what you need for the application and if you actually want to do the program, because it takes a lot. My second tip is to be yourself. Now this one is kind of cheesy, I know, and kind of like, ugh, whatever, be myself. You do need to be yourself on this application. You need to show your personality and what you will bring to the role. But with being yourself, you need to be honest about yourself. Disney is going to be able to tell within the interview if you are not who you said you were on your resume and cover letter. So don't lie on your application. Don't say you did certain things at a job that you didn't do just because you think Disney will like it. They're going to figure it out if they hire you and you can't do certain things, right? So it's best to just be honest. The other thing is, you may think that being yourself means talking about Disney and how much you love Disney, but everyone who is applying for the program loves Disney. You are not the only one who loves Disney. So tie in your experiences and your other job skills with your love of Disney. So my pro tip is to mention something that you love about Disney and that's unique about your love for Disney, but tie it back to your experience. And it's vital because when they look at your love for Disney and your experiences combined, they'll go, oh, this is what this person can bring to the role. And that's what you really want to be showcasing, is like, what can I do for the company? Not, I love it, please let me work for you. You want to sell yourself to them. You don't want to beg them. The third tip I have for you is to prepare. This is a really big one. I prepared quite a bit for mine. I worked on my cover letter and resume for about 2 months, 2-3 months before I submitted them. I had drafts of them. It was intense because I knew I wanted it, so I worked hard at it and I prepared. And it's tough. You'll sit there and you're like, oh my god, this paragraph I've been looking at for a month, like it's fine. But then you give it to someone else and they're like, no, I don't like that. And then you need to find a new way to write it. So I would definitely say prepare yourself to do lots of edits to your cover letter and resume before you submit it. I had about 2 or 3 drafts. I definitely suggest having at least 1 draft and write it out, give it to someone to look at, fresh eyes definitely will help you, and then make those edits and you'll know it's good. Once again, with your research, apply that to what you have when you're preparing. Use the little finder thing on Word or any word processing thing that you use. Type in customer in the find thing, and if it shows up on there, do find and replace and put guest instead. Or if you see employee, cast member. You gotta make sure that that kind of wording is very strong in that. So I would prepare for everything. The fourth tip is the one that I hate the most that I'm about to give, because if someone had told me this one at the beginning of it, I would have been like, go away. But the fourth one is don't stress. Yeah, the longest part of the process for me with the stress was after my interview and then being put on the wait list. But it was the shortest time. So I prepared for 2 months and then I applied and I sat under review for a few weeks, and then I hit in consideration, and then I moved to interview, and that all happened within a 3-month span. But my 4 weeks it took me to go from interview to waitlist felt like 7 years because I was so stressed. So the less stressed that you are, the faster the process will go. Because I was sitting around miserable, sad, my room is decked out with Disney stuff, and I was like, I don't want to spend any time in my room, I have too much Disney around me, I didn't want to watch Disney movies because I thought I had bombed my interview. And that's not good. You don't want to stress yourself out. You can always apply again, and that is something that I think I wasn't allowing myself to think. So don't stress. It'll make things so much easier. Don't check the website every day to check on your status. Don't check it more than once a day, because I did that. I checked it morning, afternoon, night, and sometimes twice in the morning. It was bad. Don't routinely check your email. That's another big one. Don't keep refreshing your email. I stopped caring and I was just like, oh, I'm free. It's fine. I don't need to constantly be checking my email, whatever. And then I got my acceptance and I was like, it caught me so out of the blue. like, you never know when it's gonna happen, which can stress you out, but just don't stress. A huge thing that I would recommend you do is non-Disney things. Meet up with friends, go see a movie, watch non-Disney movies. Try not to spend a lot of time looking at Disney YouTube videos, because that time period goes by so slowly when you're sitting there, and just doing more Disney things won't help. Another huge thing to avoid stress is don't let it be the only thing you talk about. I let it be the only thing I talked about and thought about, and people around me were annoying. You know that part of Mean Girls when she's like doing this? And it's like, I could hear people getting annoyed with me, but I couldn't stop myself. That was me. I was like, I can hear you all not caring about this Disney thing, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I'm so stressed. So don't think about it, don't talk about it. Set maybe like a little reminder on your calendar. Oh, check the website. Maybe once a week. But don't go crazy. And my fifth and final tip for DCRP applicants is join Facebook groups. Do it. I was nervous too at first. I thought I was gonna enter into a space where it was like people being all kind of like shady, like, no, I want to get the job, I'm gonna be rude to you kind of thing, or like, oh, you think you're qualified. But that wasn't the case at all. Everyone is so sweet in there, so willing to help, answer questions. And in that group, you've got people who've applied 7 times. You've had people in the group who've applied once, people who've never applied like me, some people who've done programs. So they're always there to answer questions, and it's so helpful. Another huge thing you can do when you're in the groups is make friends, make possible roommate contacts. You can even send those people your resume and cover letter, and they can do the editing for you. And they can look out for words, and they can look out for certain phrases that might not be right. It's really a very collaborative space, and I'm going to put the link down below for the 2018-2019 group that I'm in, just because people who are applying right now are in that group too, so you could find some helpful information there. Another great thing about the Facebook groups is that you can gauge where other people are in their process, their application process, and you can kind of see, like, if you turn on notifications, you'll get notifications of people being like, move to this step, move to that step, oh, I got my email about interviews, oh, I got my acceptance. So it really does help you, because then you're connected with everyone who's applied, and you kind of know how it's going, and you know when to expect things. And it also takes kind of the stress away in a way, because sometimes you see a bunch of people getting things and you don't, and you're like, oh, what does that mean? But it could mean that you're up for the next round of interviews too. So you just gotta remember to not stress, but be excited that you're in the Facebook group. And even if you don't get into the program, the best thing about the Facebook groups is that you've created contacts. So if you don't get in, but a friend that you made did, you could be like, hey, can I take a look at your application and see where I went wrong? Or you could send them yours and be like, do you have any notes on this? And that will really help you for the next time you apply, so that you can get it the next time. And that's it. Those are my tips. Those are my top 5 tips for you guys who are applying right now. I wish you so much luck. I hope to see some of you down there when I am there. I can't believe it. I'm like 120 something days away. It feels like long, but I feel like it's going by very quickly at the same time. It feels like yesterday I was at 160, and now I'm like, oh, where did those 40 days go? I don't know. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that about the program, or you just want to let me know how your application went, down below in the comments, let me know. Another thing, if you are looking for any links, anything I mentioned, it'll be down in the description bar. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see what it's like to do a DCRP come July, I will be posting vlogs, so go ahead and subscribe right there for all that stuff. I will also be posting more DCRP related tip videos. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye!